Friday, March 31st, 2023. CJX, CHH, I think this is the video, it's from the same customer, okay? The specific block, it's, one second, it is a DJH, will you focus that? Okay, DJH, they have put some Vaseline here, so don't come rusty. It looks like it's a 82.5. I need to clean all this here. They send it with adapter for the engine stand. This I'm gonna remove it. I'm gonna put my own engine stand, and then at the end when I finish I'm gonna mount back again. It came with the block, this box here, with these parts. Where is the crank? It's on top. Okay, all right. There are some parts here inside. We're gonna see that later on. Then let's go inside because I haven't installed the engine room, the piston and connecting rods. And inside the engine room, connecting of bearings, pistons, and connecting rods. I haven't opened it yet because it didn't came the time to open it. Alright. When comes the time, we're gonna have a look on it. Alright. Like any other time. Let's start. This is different. This is from the CJX. Okay? Don't confuse with that. This I've sent the cylinder head at the machine shop. This block is gonna be a short block. I didn't show anywhere the cylinder head. Let's see a few things now. Alright? I uncover the block. Here inside of the box I put the adapter for the engine stand, this nylon bag, the plastic pieces that came with the parts, and one roll of paper, kitchen paper, and that roll. This belongs to the customer. We're gonna turn back to him. Then I have a lower section here for washing, preparing. These bolts, the 5 in the middle, and all around 21 I think, it's one use only. You cannot stretch it again. I'm just saying. This one, no need to be here. I'm gonna wash, I'm gonna prepare it, but you don't have to bring it to me. Crankshaft, I removed it from the box and I placed it on this foam. This is a foam, okay? Why I'm saying that? Because of the reading plate, or the reading wheel here. The oil pan need to be washed again. I don't know the mileage of the engine. It looks like it's low mileage. It looks like it's not high mileage. There is no lip there. Okay, original cross hatch inside. It looks nice and decent. Fine. Yes, we saw that. Then some parts that I have already washed are here. This bolt for the intermediate gear need to be replaced. This bolt for the gear of the water pump need to be replaced. This is the gear that goes to the balance shaft. Fine. Wait 1 second. This bolt here, this is for a NOx sensor, need to be replaced. The O-ring for the frame, it looks nice and good. This you can get away with that, no need to change it because it looks like brand new and they don't fail. It's very good quality O-rings, this one. Tensioner doesn't have the aluminum bolts, has the steel bolts. You can be used again. Fine. This kind of bolts that are aluminum, it's one use only. Alright. This one, oops, this one's supposed to be for down here. Alright. Oil dipstick, no need to be here with me. It's not the time. I mean, it's a short block, so I cannot install it because we have to put the cylinder head. This one, where it goes the bolts for the cam adjusters, it doesn't have to be here. I just wash it. It looks nice. The O-rings, it's a good thing to change it, to replace it. The balance shafts, both. The frame, alright. Oil pan bolts here. some things need to be replaced. The damper pulley bolt, if you are asking me, use a new one, don't use the old one. I don't see anywhere the oil pump. I didn't show the oil pump anywhere, or the oil pickup tube. Fine. This looks like that they washed it before, but if you see here, there are some garbage. I'm gonna rewash it again. Fine. This is where am I up to now. Let's put this inside of the engine room, bring back out here the table, and continue. Moving on. By the way, I don't know where it goes, this grommet. I don't even remember where it goes, this. It's very soft. Honestly, I don't remember where it goes, this. This, whatever parts I'm not gonna use, the one-use bolts, or let us say these kind of things, they're gonna be returned back to the owner. The same thing I'm gonna do with the oil dipstick. I'm gonna wrap it. Same thing also with this one. I'm gonna wrap it. I'm gonna put it in his box inside. Whatever doesn't have to be here with me, that whatever I cannot put it on the engine, I'm gonna put it inside this box. Fine. I believe that the crankshaft bearing caps are still on the block. Yes, it is still on the block, and I can see also main bearings on it. Yeah, I can see the main bearings on it. What are we gonna say about that? All this need to come out because I have to remove the sealant. I have to clean completely the block to come dry, and then to get some measurements. Fine. Moving on. Next thing, the oil pan. This is for the heater, for the heat exchanger, the engine oil heat exchanger. This is where it goes, the oil heat exchanger. Yes, here it goes the oil heat exchanger, and this goes to the block. Yeah, the oil filter is here up. It's missing the plastic cap. In any case, I'm not gonna install this one. You need also new O-rings here. Fine. Moving on. Let's have a look on the engine block. All right. What I have done, I have removed the sealant from back over here. I have cleaned only this surface here, and I mounted on the stand. What do we have on the block? We have this bracket here. This bolt's missing here. There is only one down here. There is the oil pressure sensor at this point. All right. Here front, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bolts for the guides. This one, it's not here. It's supposed to have another one here, if I remember right. The tensioner, how they open they slide it out. First you remove the tensioner, then you remove the guides. But in any case, yeah, okay, fine. From this side, coolant fitting, oil feed here. Somebody tried to open it here, it didn't came out. All right, 2 bolts here. These are the M10. If I remember right, it's the bracket for the turbocharger. Maybe, okay, I don't remember. Another one advice, you don't have to use Teflon here on this kind of fittings, because this is sealing here at this surface. It doesn't seal on the fittings, on the threads here. These threads that are conical, yeah, it makes sense to put some Teflon, let us say, but not here. Here it doesn't make any sense. I have mentioned this 1 million times, but it is what it is. Now, oil jets are in place, and crankshaft main bearings with the crankshaft bearing caps are in place without the side bolts. The side bolts are inside. Also the crank position sensor, it's in place. Fine. Let's strip off all these things and start cleaning it. Engine block upside down. One thing that I didn't mention, sorry, from this side, it's a must to change that seal. This seal over there. This seal this goes to the gear of the water pump. This seal always leaking. Even if you have, let's say, 50,000 kilometers, it's leaking. So this seal, I'm gonna remove it. And I need a new one for that. Not only because leaking, but because I'm gonna have an access to wash the needle bearing inside. All right, moving on. Crankshaft main bearings in order, like any other time. Inspecting it, writing a number, and moving on. I didn't show anywhere the thrust washers. They are missing from here. I didn't show in the parts the thrust washer. Yeah, moving on. Back inside of the engine room. Now, don't pay attention on these parts. Forget about these parts. This is for the CJX. All right. From this side on the right. Don't pay attention on the diff. This from the Jaguar. Okay. So this line here, what you see, forget it. It's from this side and left. Fine. Now, what I put in the box. In the box there is the oil filter housing that has the bracket for the alternator AC compressor. I put it by again there. Another one thing, the adapter that came with the block, alright? And another one thing I put inside. What in hell I put inside? Shit. There was another, yes, also the housing, no, the bridge that has up for the cam adjusters, from where it's passing the solenoid valve, that's also a bolt for the cam adjuster. Yeah, I remember it. Alright, all the rest are here. Now, let's be on the same page. We are talking about the same block. DJH, alright, that's how it looks like. It's being washed only with petrol, just to remove the Vaseline. And by the way, petroleum jelly, Vaseline or grease, don't use. It's a pain in the butt to remove it. Put an ATF, get cheap ATF, automatic transmission fluid, put ATF, put engine oil, burned oil on it. It's gonna be fine. Don't use Vaseline, grease, petroleum jelly, or call it as you like. Okay, it's really headache. I spent twice the time to remove all the Vaseline from the block. All right, now you see one side, that's the front one, that's the exhaust side. I'll clean the bore here for the fittings, so when you put the new seals to come nicely correct inside. Okay, by the way, the two bolts that comes here, I'm talking about these bolts, this is supposed to be the heat shield that has for the axle, if I remember right. Yeah, okay, back nice and clean. Let's make it upside down to see the block. Okay, upside down. This is, like I said, this is only to remove the Vaseline and to remove the sealant at the same time. Okay, I didn't wash it with detergent. I'm washing it only once, the cast iron block, and this will gonna be right before I start closing it. I just want to make sure that no need anything, no need to send to the machine shop, no need to resurface or whatever, or rehone it. And when you are done, then you are washing it one time with the water, because we are talking about the cast iron. Will ya? 1 minute. Okay, cylinders. I just removed the carbon with the wire wool. You see that I haven't removed completely the carbon because the wire wool is very soft. Okay, you see the cross hatch that has from the factory. It is visible. I don't feel any gap, any lip or something. Now I'm wearing the glove, but I already did that before, earlier. Okay, I have to check the bore to see that's okay. And the surface here, the surface looks okay. I don't see any problem on the surface. A little bit of gasket here, it's remaining. I have to take care of these things. Alright. Inside the threads looks nice and clean, beautiful. Here where's the coolant path, I already blow with air from both sides. Looks nice, the block. I haven't get any measurement yet, alright, visually inspection. Let's start from the left here. That's the bottom piece of the oil pan, the upper piece of the oil pan, sorry, it's been washed. The sealant, it's been removed. All right, this it's the bracket with a bolt that was on the block. That I said that it has only one bolt. The other one was not there. Fine. Then these three bolts. It's supposed to be for the oil pump. That's also one use only. This is not it's aluminum. It's one use only. These two bolts are the long bolts that are passing through here. Okay. The 5 bolts, it's in the middle one. This is the number 5 because you see that it has a sealant, and this is on the one that comes sealant here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay. The 45 Torx here, also this 45 Torx, but this type, it's the ones that are going around. Okay. That also this, and this, I cannot use them again. You cannot go again to torque it down to specs with a, I think it's 45 degrees, I think, something like that. If you try to do that again, you're gonna snap the bolt, you're gonna crack. It's one use only. That's the seal for the balance shaft, from where it's passing the shaft outside for the gear, for the water pump. I need also the seal, clearly. The tensioner, I can use it, there's no problem at all. These are the pins for the guides, fine. These are the 30 Torx bolts for the crankshaft rear seal, but here the customer, he provide a billet crankshaft rear seal with his own bolts. So I'm not gonna use the 30 Torx, the original, I'm gonna use what came with the crankshaft rear seal. Clear. This, like I said, it's for the bracket, for the heat shield that has for the shaft, for the axle shaft. Alright, the plastic frame that has down, been washed. Give it like that, have a little bit more space. Yeah, the 2 O-rings, that looks excellent. The bolt that it's also one use only because aluminum, it's not a steel. Here I have the seal for the oil level sensor, the seal for the oil pan, that if you're asking me, it's a good thing to put a new one. If you want me to reuse, I'm gonna reuse it, but what's the worst case scenario if you reuse the old one? If it starts crying and leaking, let us say, oil, in an oil change, you have to open it and change the 2 seals. So it's not a big deal. It's okay, it looks healthy, it looks nice and soft, it's been washed with detergent, with soap and water. Alright, oil level sensor here. It doesn't look like that's burnt or something, but it's a good thing to put one time, new one, to finish the story. Up to the owner. Oil pan, been washed in and out again. Alright, let's continue here. Later on, pieces connecting bearings, not now. I already mentioned about that. Here we are okay, up to here. Alright, fine. Then, damper pulley bolt, like I said, I would like to use a new one, the gear for the crankshaft. Alright, then became flat. That's a good one, that's a good sign. The tensioner, I can open it, clean completely. The check valve that has inside, the bolts, the steel bolts are reusable. It's not like the aluminum. For those who knows the old one, the DJH, it comes with aluminum 30 Torx and it's one use only. This is the bolt for the knock sensor, one use only. This is the gear that's driving the water pump with a small belt that comes here and has left hand threads. Okay, it makes sense. That's also this bolt. It's good to think to put a new one. The intermediate gear that doesn't have any wear or something, you can change also this O-ring here. It doesn't, they're not suffering. I have seen these O-rings even up to 200,000 kilometers, they're not suffering, and does looks that old. But again, we are talking about O-rings. The bolt, obviously. Balance shafts, the 30 Torx, I'm reusing them usually, I'm not changing them. This is the one that's securing the balance shafts and they don't fail. It never failed to me at least. Oil pan bolts here, crankshaft position sensor in the middle here. I don't want to magnetize anything, that's why I have it there. This is the oil feed for the turbocharger with a bolt. This is the coolant, this is how it was, and it's missing the bolt and need a new O-ring. The new one, it's a plastic one. If you want my advice, keep the stainless steel one. The ball inside is okay, the check valve. I don't see any problem here. I can wash it with detergent, but for now it's fine. That's the oil pressure sensor. These 4 bolts here, that's also one use only. I guess that these bolts, it's supposed to be from the engine oil heat exchanger that comes on the bracket where is the oil filter housing. That's what I believe what it is, because it's not from the rest of the engine here, at least what I have. This piece, it's the tool that I'm mounting on the lathe to turn the crankshaft. it comes here, it has a tight fit, alright? This is because I will gonna put it on the lathe to turn it, to spin it, to see that's running through, to see also the reading wheel here, that's okay, it doesn't have any problem. If you're asking me, my advice, we're gonna see that later with the crankshaft main bearings. Not now this one, alright? The drain plug for the oil pan, it's here. Why it's here? Because, very simple, has a magnet, okay? So, because it has a magnet, I don't want to be near to the crankshaft, near to the connecting rods, near to any piece, you know. If you magnetize anything, you're gonna get attracted, you know, from the metallic savings. So it's not, imagine, let us say, to be magnetized this piece here and start stacking on it metallic savings, alright? You're not gonna have a happy end. I hope that I make myself clear. Forget about the static electricity that you're gonna convert it to a pinion, forget about that. I'm talking about if it's magnetized the crankshaft or the connecting rods or the moving items, you're gonna get attract all the metallic savings and you're gonna stack on it and then you're gonna have more wear. It's not smart. So the crank position sensor and the drain plug, it's related far away to the rest of the parts. So you're not rubbing it, you're not touching it, okay? Then that's the crankshaft bearing cap bolts, that's the side bolts, that's the main bolts, alright? That's the crankshaft bearing caps here, from the left to the right, number 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and then what you see here on the lower one. Before we see the lower one, let me show you this. On the crank there is G, G, G and G and R, okay? That means 4 times G and 1 R. That means yellow, yellow, yellow and red, okay? The last one is supposed to be red one. This is the number 5, and you see that the number 5, it's a yellow one. It comes like that because of the oil. And the rest, that's the yellow one, that's yellow one, yellow and yellow. Fine, fine. Let's put back again as it was. And then let's see the upper one. Usually when you have a cast iron block, and obviously you have a cast iron crankshaft bearing caps, when you machine it, it's much more precise. It doesn't have so many difference. I mean, if you compare, let us say, the Mercedes one, if you compare a block that has cast iron caps with the ALSI block, you understand that when they're machining it, the upper one, the block, it's more soft than the cast iron. So to fix any imperfections, you can play with the bearing. Usually they have the same colors. It's, yeah, up and down. Now, upper one, classic like any other time, you're gonna find here the color. And you can see that all the upper, if it focus, are red. You have R, okay? Focus, stupid piece of thing. Alright. There you go. Let's see the lower one. From the left to the right, the number 1 here. I'm writing also here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright. So what do we have? Red, 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 and red. Once again, because of the oil, it becomes like that. It's not bright red, it's a dark. If you ask a woman, she will gonna know to tell you exactly what color is that. Alright, let's continue. It's okay. The upper one, it's okay from the point that there is no, it can continue their life as it is right now. If you didn't open it, you're not gonna suffer, you're not gonna have any problem. You can see that become matte in some spots, okay? It's a normal wear of the upper bearings. Now the lower bearings, it's completely different story. Number 1 acceptable, number 2 not that much. I don't know the mileage of the engine, just judging from what I have in front of me, alright? And as I can see from the cylinders, I don't see piston slapping to the walls, let us say, or overheat the cylinder or to compromise the cross hatch. The cross hatch from the factory, it's very fine. It's not, if you're asking me, it's not the ideal, okay? For the parasitic losses, for a fuel efficiency, for a smooth engine operation at low idle, it's okay, but it's not for performance, this cross hatch. That's my opinion, and that this doesn't mean that I'm right. I'm just saying, what in hell is that shit now that doesn't come out? Alright, that's purely my opinion. In any case, number 2, number 3, you can pass it. The number 4, how it became like that, I have no clue. Honestly. I don't have any history of the car, honestly, I have no clue. And the number 5, you see that has more wear at this point. You cannot say that had the pre-ignition detonations, because, no, you cannot say. You don't know. I don't have the piece of connection rods, I don't have the connection bearings to see what's going on. The only thing what I have are these parts what I have in front of me, right? The crankshaft on the journal number 4 here, where is the connecting rod, you see that it's start getting polished at this point. You see these small lines, and I think that I saw it in another journal on the number 1 here. It's not something critical, it's not something crazy, but it's a good thing before you put the new bearings to send it for one light polishing. That's it, and I'm stopping there. All right, it's very simple. Just before you put, let us say, even if the crank main bearings was not in this position, in this condition, sorry, if all of them, forget the number 4, if all of them was like that, it's not bad thing to send it for one light polishing. Usually they don't remove even 1,000 of a millimeter, so it's very minor, it's nothing. Here, where's the crankshaft rear seal? Has some signs of rust. It's not something crazy again. If you sand with the wire, it will gonna go away, but if we send it for polishing, it's gonna be even much better. Okay. Now, crankshaft main bearings need to be replaced. Follow me on that. Sorry. Oil jets, cooling jets. I don't see any mark on them. I didn't see any heat or something. Keep in mind that the Volkswagen Audi, there is no check valve inside, because there is a solenoid specific for the cooling jets. So the ECU is controlling the cooling jets, when they're gonna start spraying, when they're gonna stop spraying. Okay, it's fine. There is no problem with that. What I need crankshaft bearing cap bolts, the main one and the side one, main bearings. I need this. It's not for me. I don't have the oil heat exchanger. Like I said, couple of bolts here and there. The seals, if you want the owner, the tensioner, you can open it. You can just open it and clean it. Like I said, need some things to move on. Now, before I continue, before we place an order, or before we inform the owner is gonna get informed also from the video. He's gonna see with his own eyes what I see, what I have in front of me. Let's make some tests. Let's get some measurements from the crank and from the block, and later on for the pistons. Pistons and connecting rods. Pistons to cylinder wall clearance, connecting rods to see the height. It's important. It's not about not trusting the Wiseco or a Carillo. Okay, I have used that before in the past. There is no problem at all. I'm not saying anything. I have used diamond pistons. I have used Osner. You have seen Italian RP mostly. All right, nothing wrong with that. I'm just double checking for a peace of mind, because we're humans. That's it. Don't start like some other guys that they're saying, why you're saying that or why you do that. What I'm checking all the time, I'm not changing anything in my checklist. It's a checklist to have a peace of mind for me. If I see something wrong, once again, you might make the best part in the world, you might miss something. When you're making, let us say, 1 million pieces, 1 out of 1 million, maybe you're gonna be defect, maybe you're gonna have one problem. I don't want to install it on the engine. That's my point, all right? I'm not saying that, you know what, I see that and this, what garbage is that? No, I'm not saying that. I'm just checking, and because, let us say, I'm saying from now, if I found something, this doesn't mean that all of them are gonna be garbage. Understood? I'm just saying. Don't misunderstand. If you misunderstand, it's your problem. Yeah. So, where was I? Yeah, stop talking. Get some tools. Yeah, you know what? Because it's gonna be a huge video. Right now I'm talking almost for 20 minutes. Yeah, I'm gonna upload this as a first part, and I'm gonna make another part for the measurements.